welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to do flat herringbone stitch, and here's a few pieces that I've done using that stitch in different beads. I've made this bracelet with super duos in flat herringbone stitch, and I made this necklace with half tilas and quarter tilas in herringbone stitch, and I've also made this bracelet with 8 O's in herringbone stitch. And today I'm gonna do one very similar to this one. And if that's something you'd like to see, please hit the like button, come back and we'll get started. Okay, so for this bracelet, I'm using 3 different colors of 8O seed beads. These are basically check glass seed beads that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. And I think I mentioned before that I like when I check the newspaper for Hobby Lobby sales, because more often than not they have 50% off their beads. So when they do, I like to go pick up different colors, especially of the seed beads. So I've got a cream color, I've got more of a tangerine coral color, and a light coral pastel orange color, and I've got some 11 O's. That's going to decorate the side of the bracelet and cover up some thread. I'm going to use a toggle clasp, and I like this toggle because it's almost like a extender chain. You can use whichever toggle fits your wrist, so that gives you a little bit of leeway there. And we're going to need 2 wire guards and 2 jump rings. I've got 4mm jump rings. So thread your needle. This is a size 11 because that's basically what I usually have on hand, but you could use a size 10 too. Thread your needle with a comfortable amount of thread. Put a stop bead on if you like. I'm not using a stop bead for this, but if you're more comfortable using a stop bead, please do that. I'm going to pick up 4 with my 8O. Drop them down, and for herringbone stitch, you always start out with ladder stitch. So I'm going to go through the first 2 and pull through. And this is what I have. Then I'm going to sew down those 2. And I'm going to pick up my middle color. I'm going to pick up 2 now. It's coming out of the bottom. We're going to go through the top. Then I'm going to sew up those 2 I just put on. I'm going to add 1 more row of the brighter color orange. We're coming out of the top. I'm going to go through the bottom. Sew down. I'm going to pick up my lighter pastel orange, 2 of those, go through the top. And then you're going to go through, up through those beads once more. And I'm going to make this just 6 rows of beads, so 2 of each color. I'm going to pick up 2 more, go through the bottom, and this is what you have. I'm going to go ahead and go back through all the beads again to reinforce. Just to make it a little straighter. Whoops. Okay, so now we're going to start our herringbone. I'm coming out of this top of this cream colored 8-0, I'm going to pick up 2 more 8-0. I'm going to go down 1, the other 8-0 actually, and this is how it sits. It kind of almost forms a V shape at first, and it's not really attached till the next rows. So we're going to go down 1, and then we're going to scoot over to this orange bead and go up the orange one. So I'm going to pick up 2 more, but of the bright orange color now. I'm going to go down that. I'm coming out of this orange bead. I'm going down that next orange. And see how they kind of sit in a V formation? Down that one, and then I'm going to go up the pale orange. Pick up 2 of the lighter orange. Coming out of the top here, going to go down that second light orange bead. And this is our first row of herringbone. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to want to come through this bead here to start my next row. So I'm going to take 2 11-0s, which I've used in a bright orange as well, and I'm going to go through that top bead. I'm going to pick up 2 of the lighter orange, go down that next one, and up the bright orange. I'm going to pick up 2 of the orange. Coming out of this one, I'm going to go down 1, just 1, and then up the cream colored one. I'm going to pick up 2 cream colored. Coming out of this one, I'm going to go down just 1, just make sure when you pull through you can kind of make them sit nicely. And then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to pick up my 2 11-0s to decorate the side and cover up that thread when I go through this top one. And that's basically it. That's the length of, you do that to the length of your bracelet. I'll do some more so you can get a better idea. I'm going to go down just the 1, and up 1. And it's kind of the nature of the stitch to be a little wobbly until you get the next, well, until you get it started and get a few rows going. But this row that you're working on isn't really sewn together completely until you put the next row on top, as you can see here. I hope I'm explaining that right. So I'm picking up 2 orange, coming out of this top one, going to go down 1, up 1. So it's basically, flat herringbone is basically down 1, up 1. Pick up the pastel color. Coming out of this one, we're going to go down. And then I'm going to flip this around and put 2 more of my 11-0s as I start the next row. Now, You could also make this 8 or however wide you want it. I've got 6 beads across, and that's basically what this blue and white one is. But you can make it however wide you want it. So I'm starting my next row. I'm going to pick up 2 of the pastel coming out of the top. I'm going to go down the next one. And I'm going to show you a little shortcut. Once you get comfortable doing this, going down one, up one, we're going to go up this orange. You can kind of do it all in one fell swoop once you get comfortable. So I've got the 2 normally, whoop. Let's get them back on that needle. Normally I would go down and then up, but you can also just do one of these. And it really does save time. But you have to kind of make sure your beads are sitting nice. I'll do some more. Picking up the cream color one. I'm going to go down just the one. Then I'm going to turn my work and start the other way. I tend to work right to left, but you do whatever is most comfortable for you. I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs, go through the top of that next, or that ivory colored one. And I'm going to start the next row, whoop, just 2. And I'm going to go down 1, up 1, like so. And once you get the rhythm of it and just get in the groove, as they say, you can just, it works up pretty fast. And that's basically what you do for the length of your bracelet. So I'm going to pick up 2 more 11-oh, go through that pale peach one, pick up 2 peach, let's just call them peach and orange, and I'm going to go down 1, up 1. Pick up 2 orange, go down 1, up the ivory. Pick up 2 of the ivory or cream colored ones and go down 1. Gonna flip it and then just start my next row like I've done the other ones until I get the length that I want, and then I'll come back and show you the next steps. Okay, so I've sewn about 4 1/4 inches of herringbone, and I've decided that I want to do an ending like this bracelet where I did a brick stitch. So I'm going to show you that. Now you could, here's another bracelet I made a while back. It is just straight herringbone, and I didn't finish off the ends in a triangle. I just kind of left them straight. And at the end, you've got to connect the beads all together because I'll show you in a minute, the last row isn't connected yet. So you could also do something like this where you have a loop and button or loop and bead or any way you want to do, any closure you want to do. But for today's video, I'm going to show you how I did the brick stitch. So I've got like about 4 1/2, maybe 4 1/4 inches of beading, and it usually is about 1 inch for that little triangle brick stitch. So that would mean that I would have about 6 inches of beading, and then I'll put the clasp on. So that works for me, but you'll have to kind of work and see what fits your wrist the best. So see how this last row that I just put on is not connected, like the orange is not connected to the cream, And over here, the same thing. We're going to need to make sure that's all connected. So I'm going to sew down and up the orange. I'm going to go down and up the peach. I'm going to go down and up. I'm just going to go back the other way now. Down. And up. Down. And up. And there we go. Now, if this is how you want to end your bracelet and you want to do your whole length of your bracelet like this, you can just decide what clasp to put on here. But like I said, I want to show you the brick stitch. So I'm going to make the little triangle of brick stitch in the cream color. So I'm coming out of this cream colored bead here. I'm going to pick up 4 more cream colored, and I'm not going to go into, see, these are the thread bridges across. I'm not going to go into this first one. I'm going to go underneath this second one and pull through. And then I'm going to go up, down, and back up that little stack. So now I'm going to pick up 2 more 8-ohs, and I'm going to go through this next thread bridge right here. Go underneath that with your needle, and then go up that bottom one through the top of that second bead there. Going to do the same thing. I'm going to go through that next thread bridge, and then back up those beads. I've got 1 more thread bridge to go through, and then we're going to start our next row of brick stitch. And we're always going to go one, we're going to do a decrease. That's why when you turn it around like so, you don't, every time you're going to go through the next row, you don't go into the first thread bridge, you go into the second one. So I'm going to pick up 4 again. There's the first thread bridge. Since we're doing a decrease, we're going to go through the second, underneath the second thread bridge. Then up through those 2 8-ohs, down through those first 8-ohs, and then back up. Like so. And now we're going to start just on the next thread bridge. We're going to pick up 2 8-ohs. We're going to go right under that next thread bridge. and then sew up through those 2 beads like that. Okay, we've got one more thread bridge. Pick up 2, go underneath that, I hope you can see that, and then up those 2. And we've got our next row on, and you can see how it's starting to come to a little triangle point. So we're going to flip it, pick up 4, skip the first thread bridge. Every time you're starting a new row, go into the second. Then we're going to go up, down, straighten them out, and then back up. I've got one more thread bridge here. I'm going to pick up 2, go underneath that thread bridge, and then we'll be ready to put our last row on. We're coming out of this bead here. There's the first thread bridge. There's the second one. So I'm going to pick up 4. Oops, that's 5. Let's do 4. Skip the first thread bridge, go through that second. And I'm going to go up, down, back up, and there is our brick stitch portion of the bracelet. Now ordinarily I would go down, back down, sew around, go back up and come out, but just for the time on the video, after I had done that, I'm going to come out of this bead here and pick up the wire guard, bring that down, sew through the other side of that wire guard and through. In fact, you could probably even do your reinforcement while you're putting the wire guard on. It's up to you. And then I'm gonna hop over to this bead, come through that wire guard to reinforce it, and then come down, and there we have our wire guard on one side, and I'm just going to do the other side the same way and put the wire guard on, and I'll come back and we'll attach the clasp. Okay, so I've done the other side in the brick stitch triangle, and I put my wire guards on. We're ready to put the clasp on, so I'm going to pick up one of my jump rings, open up my jump ring, go through that wire guard, take one end of the toggle, go through like that, close up, whoop. And then we got one end of the toggle on. Let's do the other side. Pick up a jump ring, open up that jump ring, go through the wire guard, and through the loop on the toggle. Close that jump ring up. And there you go. We've got our bracelet. So here's how it looks on, and I clasped it on the very first loop of the toggle, but there's two other ones, you know, so it could fit different sizes. And I'm real happy how it turned out. I love it in the 8 seed beads, but if you want to see one done and it looks really elegant, try using 11/0s, because it's just so gorgeous with 11/0s. It does take a little bit longer to do, but it is just gorgeous. So I want to thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'm going to show you soon how to do a tubular herringbone and a twisted tubular herringbone, because those are pretty stitches too. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see a new video every week, and ring that bell and you'll be notified of any time I do upload. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.